U.S. citizens and green card holders, if you're re-entering the United States, CBP can legally search your phone and other electronic devices and even keep them. But here's what they can't do and how to protect your rights and your data. When you enter the United States, Customs and Border Protection has the right to search and inspect travelers even without a warrant. This includes physically searching your phone, your laptop, your camera, and even copying the contents of your devices using different softwares that they have. This is allowed under what's called the border search exception, and it even applies if you're a U.S. citizen. Now, if you're pulled into secondary inspection, here's what happens. U.S. citizens only have to answer questions to confirm their identity and their citizenship. You cannot be denied entry into your own country, even if you refuse to unlock your phone or answer any other non-essential questions, or basically any questions related to customs issues. And green card holders have the same protections. They have to confirm their identity and their LPR status. And your green card can't be just taken away on the spot. That can only happen through a hearing before an immigration judge. Now, refusing to answer other questions may delay you, but it's not a basis for being excluded from the United States. Now, visa holders, on the other hand, are in a much more vulnerable position. Refusing to cooperate might lead to a denial of entry into the U.S. And that's because CBP has the power to determine your admissibility into the United States. Now, if you are selected for a longer interview with Customs and Border Protection, what you do depends on your immigration status. Now, U.S. citizens, again, have the absolute right to enter the United States. If the questions become too intrusive about your political beliefs or religious practices or unrelated travel history, you can decline to answer. But again, understand that doing so may result in further inspection or delays. All in all, it'll just be a super inconvenient situation for you. Green card holders also cannot be denied entry into the U.S., and like citizens, have the right to refuse to answer intrusive questions. But again, it might prolong your time in inspection. With non-citizen visa holders or visitors, their situation is different, and they can be denied entirely because the legal standard that applies to them is different. However, if you feel that the questions that are being asked of you violate your rights, or if you're being treated unfairly, you do have the right to ask to speak to a supervisor, and you can also file a complaint. And while CBP says you don't have the right to an attorney during these situations, you should carry the number of an attorney or a legal aid organization, and you can ask to contact them if you feel like your rights are being violated. And if at any point CBP believes that you've committed a crime and they've told you that you're under arrest, you should say, "I wish to remain silent," and ask to speak to a lawyer. And say it loud and clearly, because that is when your right to a lawyer absolutely kicks in. Now, if an officer asks for you to unlock your phone or your device, you can say, "I don't consent to the search." And you can invoke the right to speak to a lawyer. Now, they may still seize your phone, but again, if you're a U.S. citizen, they can't stop you from entering. Green card holders can also assert their rights, but they could be questioned longer. Now, it's important as a green card holder to make sure that you never voluntarily give up your green card. Also, make sure you ask for the officer's name and badge number when you're in this situation. And if they take your phone, ask for a receipt for your device. And if they do search your phone or your device, ask that it be done in front of a supervisor. Now, if they do end up seizing your phone, they can keep it temporarily, and that can be days or weeks or even months. And there is no guaranteed timeline on when you'll get it back. But again, to try to recover your device, request a receipt at the time they take your phone, and write down the officer's name, badge number, and the agency. Ask when and how you'll be contacted, and contact the agency directly if you don't hear back. And make sure you document everything that happens in your encounter with CBP. If you think your rights are violated, you should consider contacting an organization like the ACLU and see if they can be of assistance to you. You can also try contacting a civil rights attorney. Now, before your trip, you can protect your privacy with your electronic devices, such as your phone or laptops. You can use strong passwords. Also, disable Face IDs or fingerprint unlocks. You can also turn on an airplane mode before landing. There's also a lockdown mode on the iPhone that you can use. And you can encrypt your laptop through File Vault or BitLocker. It depends on if you have a Windows or Mac. You should also back up and remove any sensitive data, but it's really better to travel with a clean device if at all possible. It's also important to know that CBP cannot target you based on your race, your political beliefs, your gender, your ethnicity. So if you're asked to remove a religious head covering, for example, you can request a private room as well as an officer who matches your gender, and you can ask to pat it down yourself under supervision. Now, with respect to fingerprints, you have to be fingerprinted if you're a green card holder or a visitor to the U.S. And it's also important that you don't sign anything that you don't understand, especially forms to give up your visa or your green card. That's critical. And if the documents are in a language you don't understand, ask for a translator. With any legal documents or any sort of legal issue, it's important to make sure that everything is in your best language. So again, know your rights, protect your data, and don't let the stress or pressure of the current political environment impact you in knowing your rights, because you definitely have them. Follow us for more immigration news, tips, and information.